Well, we've always wondered what Denny Hamlin would do for a win against his own team, and now we have our answer. To be fair, we probably shouldn't be surprised after what happened last week with his teammate. Why Denny Hamlin did nothing wrong, though. We're going to argue that today at the end of the Kansas race. Plus, Toyota's turmoil makes us question their chances at the NASCAR Cup Series title. So much more to talk about from the NASCAR playoff race at Kansas here on the Gay Racing Podcast. Hello, hello. Zach and Alex are back with you. I had a
Hello.
pretty good weekend. Alex, what did you do this weekend? Anything fun? Go
I
anywhere?
was at the track this weekend and I had such a blast, man.
I bet you
Kansas
did.
has just been incredible in the next gen era, honestly. Like this car has its flaws, but at Kansas, it's just continuing to deliver. And this was no exception. Like even regarding like the finish and everything, like throughout the whole race, it was really good.
I have no negative. I have no negativity about this race,
Yeah, it was
and I'm
great.
king negativity. Like I love being negative. You know
Like
me.
even the overtimes, like I don't like overtime. I didn't mind it.
It wasn't. Maybe that last one was a little bit much, but like, and
Yeah,
there
yeah.
were definitely some cautions yesterday that are. I'm just like, girl, okay, maybe I am negative. Why are we throwing the caution out for who was in the 44? JJ Yaley or something? Like,
JJ Yaley.
he's
That
spinning
was
out
a
in the
silly
grass, and
caution.
we're gonna throw the caution for that, really? So sure, I'm negative about that, but no, the racing was good as it always is. Kansas is just really built for this type of racing for what the next gen needs.
Yeah.
Great race. You are so lucky you get to you go to Kansas. You're so close to Kansas. What 30 minutes from the track, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. You've seen a lot of good races. 2024 spring last year, that amazing finish, that amazing race, and yeah, it's a very different conversation than what we had in the spring when our good friend Jackson Todd was here and we were talking about, man, maybe Kansas only needs one date and the attendance and blah blah blah. We ain't
Since you
talking about
mentioned
that today.
the
Yeah, how
attendance
was
though
that?
was way better than spring, and college football was going on, and the Kansas City Chiefs were at home, other side of the city. Attendance wasn't bad. Like it was much more packed than it was in the spring.
Because it wasn't Mother's Day.
Yep.
I mean, that was a huge deal. That was my main point in the spring episode. Like, I'm not gonna go to a NASCAR race on Mother's Day. Sorry,
Right.
but let's quickly get out of the way Chase Elliott, because we're not going to talk about him until the next round starts anyway. So this is our final time talking about Chase Elliott. Those poor Chase Elliott fans had to get up this morning and realize that Alan Gustafson was the reason they won that race, by the way. The 4-tire call. Those poor Chase
Well,
Elliott fans.
there's other reasons that we're about to get into,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
yeah, Chase Elliott prevails as Toyota's turmoil boils over yet again 2 weeks in a row. Chase Elliott, I had him out in the first round, and yeah, I was wrong. I was close to not being wrong. He had issues at Bristol, but yeah, great race for Chase. He was the best Chevrolet, I would say.
Low key. Because
The
Larson was
Toyotas
really
were
good.
just yeah,
Yeah.
the
Larson was
Toyotas were
good
just
like
on another
early, but
level.
yeah, and we'll talk about Toyota a lot today for many different reasons.
Oh yeah.
Some good, some not good. But while we're on Elliott, and again, he's just second win of the year. Actually, low key, that's kind of a huge deal for that 9 team. I mean, they haven't had a multi-win season since 2022. Like this is actually
Hmm.
kind of a big deal for them. And yeah, like Byron struggled, Larson, and we said Hendrick. Like they really need to show up at Kansas, right?
Yep,
They have got to show up at Kansas and be fast and honestly win. And did they win?
they did.
Yeah, technically. Were
Not
they
technically, they did win.
no, but were they dominant in like the fastest? And are they going to go into Las Vegas being comfortable? I wouldn't say that. So it's this interesting little dynamic, I guess. We're leaving Kansas. It's like, man, they're lucky they got that. And that's 5
Yeah.
extra playoff points that Chase Elliott especially really needs. You know, him not having a lot of wins, right?
Yeah. And when you look at the race as a whole, I mean, Toyotas were the best in the long run, especially Denny Hamlin was just a monster. Once he got the 10, 15 laps into a run, was just insanely fast. Larson, you mentioned, and Chase Elliott, they were really good on the shorter run. I noticed, at least from the track, like Chase would lead for a little bit maybe, and then would be caught by Hamlin and Bell, and then those guys would just pull away on the longer run. And it wasn't even like that long of a run. He had like 10, 15 laps. So 11 and 20 were just gone.
Yeah. There seemed to be that's kind of something I've noticed in a lot of next gen racing. That you would almost need to get to like about lap 20 for that tire were to really start showing up. And then once it starts getting really good, they go ahead and pit. So
Yeah.
kind of but yesterday's race was pretty good in that regard. Nothing really else to say about Chase Elliott though. I mean, the 4 tire call, I think, I was listening to the teardown and they asked Alan Gufferson, why did they make the 4 tire call? Well, they weren't going to beat the Toyotas straight up. And that
Right.
makes a lot of sense. They weren't going to beat the Toyota straight up. You
Well,
had to do
and
something different.
if Chase had the best car on the short run, like if I'm saying, like that makes more sense too. Like have as many advantages as you can possibly have.
Yeah. And he
I
put
mean, it
himself in
worked too. I
position.
mean, he not only did the Toyotas take each other out. I mean, Chase Elliott restarted 8th. I mean, Toyotas were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that restart,
Yeah.
and Chase Elliott managed to get up there. And I'm not saying it was purely the tires, but there was a lot of other factors. But the tires definitely helped.
Oh, 100% it helped, especially like him being on the bottom lane, like it opening up for him.
Yeah.
I noticed like Chase Briscoe was just like trying the top too much. It's especially on the short run. I think it's really hard to make the top work. The top really wasn't. How was the top lane yesterday? It was hard to see on TV at some points. It wasn't
I
like as
felt
dominant as it normally
I felt
is.
like all the lanes were being used.
Yeah,
I wouldn't I wouldn't say it was like a Homestead or Darlington kind of thing like we've seen
right,
before at Kansas in recent years. But like all the lanes, people were everywhere around the track. But I
right,
did notice that the bottom lane was really good, better more than it had been. But the high lane was really good off turn 2. If you were on
right. That makes
if you wanted to
sense.
pass someone in turn 2, you really had to be on the high lane.
That makes sense with the shape of the track. All D-shaped ovals because it's just tighter off turn 2. It just makes sense. You
Yeah.
just get a better run. Anything else we have to say about Chevrolet before before we move on
I
to the
mean,
big T word?
no, I mean it's just Chase Elliott. Congrats to him. He's locked into the round of
Yeah,
8. We'll talk about the playoffs
Larson.
later.
Larson's got to pick it up a little bit. He was fast. I mean, literally, he finished 6th, but
He was up there. Yeah.
best of the rest.
What I
Honestly,
will add one more thing with Elliott. He was able to like pass the other Toyotas, like Briscoe, like not one of the like the Bell or
yeah,
Hamlin, but he could pass like a Briscoe and stuff like that. Then on the 2311 cars, he passed Bubba a couple times in Reddick, but Larson was not able to pass the Toyotas, at least from what I saw.
struggle with that, and maybe at the high lane not being as strong as it normally is. Maybe he struggled adapting to that, of course.
Maybe, yeah.
And what was I gonna? I guess it wasn't important. It'd be interesting to see what kind of challenge the 9 and the 5 team, and if the 24 wants to show up
Yeah.
to Las Vegas. Byron, he recovered for 9th, but he just
Yeah.
wasn't really there
I have more
yesterday.
to say on that in a bit, but I want to talk about Toyota because that is the topic of the week. Denny Hamlin drifted up in the final corner on the second overtime restart. Final corner, final lap. Puts Bubba Wallace, who car he owns, a 23, he's a co-owner of 2311, puts Bubba in the wall. Hamlin does not have power steering. He
Yeah,
lost
let's
it
go
with
back
about
to like
60
this
to
whole last
go.
run. Like, I think the fact that he dominated this race, Alex, like,
If Denny
really
Hamlin
sets
would
the
have won
scene.
this race, it was going to be one of the best wins of his career. Because
Win number 60.
not only was he class of the field, he was dominant, best car by a mile. And then he loses power steering. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that is whole new wrinkle. This is a change, probably going to change the race. But he was still way better than everyone else without the power steering. And I'm not saying he's not physically capable, but he is older. He's the
He's
same
old.
age Jeff Gordon was when Jeff Gordon retired, and he's going to go a few more years. I mean, that's a lot on his body at his age. I mean, he's in the latter half of his career now, last couple of years.
He's had shoulder problems.
So
He got
impressive.
surgery
Yeah,
on his
that too.
shoulder recently. Like, I was imagining that the whole time. I'm like, how is Denny keeping it together? Because this was a thing that developed with like 50 to go or something. It was like a restart with
50,
like 40, 50
60.
to go.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you find out about it from me? Because did you have a
So
headset on?
I had really good service. By the way, this is the best service I've ever had at Kansas Speedway. I
Oh,
don't
so
know if
you
they
can
made
still check
upgrades.
Twitter and stuff,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. I had Bob, like Bob Pockris. I was just
Bob.
checking his feed, and he said that Denny had no power steering. And man, if Denny would have won, for this to be win number 60, that would have been a huge statement. And like I said, I think it would have been one of the best of his career. And even let's go to the final restart. If he were to pull off this win because he had a bad pit stop and it put him
Yes.
back to I think he was fifth or fourth of all the Toyotas up
Yeah.
there. He still managed to get it back around them and was in contention for the win. If he would have pulled off the win, it would have genuinely been top 5 win of his career, man.
That's the
And
badass stuff that NASCAR needs to be about.
and yeah, and he has been talking about win number 60. That is his ultimate goal. And he said as much on his podcast. Like that's all he was thinking about was win 60. That's what he wants. Before he retires, he wants a 60th career win. And doesn't happen. He gets into Bubba Wallace again, the car he owns, and that allows Chase Elliott to go on by. And Zack Denny said on his podcast today that he's the owner of 2311 Monday through Saturday. But on Sundays, he's the driver of the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. What did you think of the incident here?
There's a lot to unpack about the incident, and I like how we kind of started by talking about like Hamlin first and the race he had and the dominant performance he had and just that gritty drive without power steering. Again, like I think
incredible.
You asked me on text, like, are these cautions helping him because he gets to rest? You know what I mean?
Like I didn't know.
I'm like imagining like just on this restart, the adrenaline's pumping. Yeah, his arms might be sore at this point, but he got to rest them, and he's like charged back up, and he's gonna win this damn race. And man, he got up there. Like that's just so cool. I already said that. What did I think about the incident with Bubba Wallace? And we'll get to that. I want to talk more about him as Denny Hamlin because he has a legacy as Denny Hamlin, as the driver that is super important to him. He's been working his ass off as a driver for his whole life. To get, I mean, at this point, championships aren't really the same value as they used to be with Petty and Earnhardt, right? And Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing he can do right now is get win number 60, right?
Ties him for 10th all time wins.
And you can say, and we're going to talk about him and Bubba. He's not going to let Bubba Wallace, a car he owns, get in the way of that.
No.
He has his own legacy that he wants to build up and not prove, I guess. He's very proven, but he's only got so many years left of driving, right? Maybe 2, right? Bubba Wallace in 2311 Racing, that's the rest of his life after driving. Mm-hmm. I think you can kind of look at it that way too. It's like, I can only win so many more races as a driver. As an owner, this is the rest of my life.
Right.
And especially,
great point.
He's in the race car. He is it's not in his instincts to not go for the win there. Yeah. And I think this is when we start transitioning, talking about what happened in turn 3, because I feel like we are on a very different side than a lot of Twitter and a lot of social media.
Yeah.
Alex, I don't really, was it overall looking back at it? And I tweeted this, Toyota choked that.
Definitely.
Toyota restarting top 5 positions. There is absolutely no way that a Toyota did not win that race.
Yeah.
That's kind of embarrassing. And it is. But I can't really look at turn 3 and say that Denny shouldn't have done this.
This was just a racing incident. Like, it's just racing so hard that it got away from them. I see no issue with this. I thought this was an awesome finish. It shows how hard they were fighting for it. And listen, I feel sympathy for all the Bubba Wallace fans.
Yes.
I totally do. He doesn't have many wins. This win would have put him into the next round. He likely needs to win. He only gained 1 point for this race.
He needed that win more than Denny in terms of the playoffs. Denny, the driver, doesn't care about that, though.
But that's the thing. Denny is trying to achieve this goal he's been talking about for years. I don't remember when he first said it. It's been several years ago now. Win 60 is what he wants.
Well, also, those 5 playoff points, he might need those at Martinsville. You know what I mean?
But imagine he has a different mindset, and he's like, oh, I own the 23 car. I'm going to let him win this race. The backlash he would receive for that would be even worse than a lot of people are having to this situation with Hamlin taking Bubba out of the equation for the win.
Yeah, because isn't what happened yesterday what we won? I guess, obviously,
I
if
would
there's
think
a
so.
way for the 11 to race the 23 without making contact, sure. But
But this
te-
happens.
team
It wasn't a
orders,
dirty move.
yeah. If the, I like if there were any kind of team orders or letting Bubba win, that gets ugly. Like that gets to
Yeah.
Martinsville territory, right? Like, what are
Yeah.
we doing at this point? I think the thing that a lot of people aren't getting is, and I hate to say this because it's not like I've been in a race car either. I've only done iRacing, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I have a lot of background with like competitive gaming, and I like to bring up this example. There's people who are coaches in gaming, and they know what the top players do, and they know what the really good players do, but they can't go and actually do it themselves because to have that kind of mechanical skill and decision making, to have that kind of decision making, it's basically instincts with how fast stuff is happening.
Yeah.
That's an entirely different skill set that you have to train and practice. That's why people practice, right? Like in any
Yeah.
sport or any competition. That's why Denny Hamlin, who's been doing this for years, and I can look at this and I'm like, I don't think that was a dumb move. I
No.
think it was maybe a slight misjudgment that ended up, again, putting Bubba into the wall, but I think it could have been much worse if
And
you really think about it.
you only have a second, a millisecond to decide what you're going to do. They're going so fast, and he only has like a second, like I said, to just make this decision like, okay, which lane am I going to go on? Where am I going to go? And again, he said in his podcast, he didn't even know the 23 was up there until like, it was too late, and he had already committed to that line.
Well, yeah, with how
But
close
it's,
they have to race each other in the next gen car to side draft and
yeah.
stuff, like the margin for error has gotten very, very small with these kinds of
And at the
situations.
same time, Bubba Wallace is making decisions of his own as well. He chose to be up top, and all these drivers have to adjust to what all the other drivers around them are making. And I'm not saying anyone made a bad move here. No one made. I mean, there was a bad move, obviously, but in
Mm,
terms of like a dirty move, like there was nothing like that.
I don't think it was even a bad move. I think it's Hamlin and Bubba wanted the same piece of racetrack.
Yeah, and they
Like I
both
know
wanted to
Hamlin
win, and
Hamlin
that's what we
has a
want as race fans.
responsibility. I think Hamlin has the responsibility as the car on the bottom to not wash up into Bubba.
Yeah.
Sure. And he did
But he
wash up
also
into
had no
Bubba.
power steering, which sure,
Yes.
that's an excuse, but
I mean, Denny Hamlin, and also put yourself in Denny Hamlin's head. You who have dominated this race all afternoon, who dominated the last run without power steering, a BS caution came out because Kyle Busch doesn't know how to drive anymore. Your pit crew just messed up. You I don't think you should be entitled to anything in any competition, but Denny Hamlin had every right to be entitled to that win yesterday
yeah.
and to feel entitled. So when you have a really good restart, again, still no power steering, you come up and fight for the lead. Yeah, you are sending it in turn 3. I would do the same thing. All
Yeah.
of you at home, if you were in that situation, would do the exact same thing, even if you own that 23 car. And again, I feel for the Bubba fans. I do. But Denny Hamlin did what he had to do, and he did honestly what he should have done. Like he did, I don't even
Yeah.
want to say a smart thing because he did make a mistake, but he
And
didn't make a bad move.
like Zach, you're a Larson fan. Denny made a move on Kyle Larson at the same track. When was that? A year or two ago, on the backstretch to win the
Yeah,
race. And I'm sure you didn't like that either. But that is
I
another
wasn't.
move that's, you know,
I
you're
wasn't mad
trying to
because it
win a
was
race.
racing.
Yeah.
We're dealing with really close margins here. He didn't do it on
And
purpose.
for me, if Ryan Blaney was in Bubba Wallace's position, I wouldn't be happy either. Like I definitely sympathize with Bubba Wallace fans, but this it's just a racing thing, and your
Well, go.
driver is going to come out on top in other situations. Denny Hamlin has lost so many races over the last like what 20 years. I mean,
Yeah,
this
to
happens.
really
It's just
stupid stuff.
racing. I love
Yeah,
this finish. It was great.
and go back to Gateway with Blaney and Larson. That's different
Hmm.
because it's stage 2. They did not need to be, Larson did not need to
Right.
drive his car that way. That's not for the
Hmm.
win. Like it's
Yep.
stage 2, bro. Like there's a key difference there, right? But when it's for the win in these situations, it's hard to be mad at the guy
Yep.
because it's just it happens in racing. It happens to the best of them. Um,
Yep.
yeah.
And again, I love the finish. I love this race, and I think as race fans, we should want stuff like this because it shows these drivers really want to win these races.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that too because I think you know what this reminds me of the Homestead finish from last year in the playoffs, and I think
Okay.
we came on here. We have this in the doc somewhere, I think, but
Yeah.
uh, we talked about, or I talked about how I hate the playoffs, but we got this finish because of the playoffs, and this finish was so good because of the playoffs. And I wanted to ask you about that, and if
Yeah.
anyone else like had feelings about that. Is that true for this finish? Did we only get this kind of finish because of the playoffs or
In
not?
Denny
Because again, we
Hamlin's
talked.
case,
Yeah,
no. But
right.
for Bubba Wallace, yes. I think the
Like,
reaction is because of the playoffs. Yes.
ooh, that's a good point. I think we would have seen a similar finish, but the playoffs maybe would have changed the reaction, or I don't know. I don't know though. That's a good
Well,
one.
and remember the spring race last year, the closest finish in NASCAR history at
True.
Kansas Speedway was not in the playoffs. And Kyle Larson won that, and he was pretty aggressive with Busher to win that
Yeah.
race. And
Busher
Busher
though
is,
did need that win for the
yeah,
playoffs,
and
but
it
still not
ultimately
not a
could cost
playoff
him.
race.
And Busher's reaction to losing, not that race, but later, like Darlington, I think it was a week or two before or after. But
Yeah,
his
it was
reaction
before.
to that was because of the playoffs. Ultimately, I think its reactions are from the playoffs and the race itself, maybe not, because drivers want to win races. That's why they're race car drivers.
Thank you. I don't like when people say that drivers don't want to win if we didn't have the playoffs. Like,
Yeah,
honey,
and but
what?
don't get me wrong,
They're race car drivers.
there are instances where it's like a driver's gonna do something stupid because of the playoffs. 100%.
Austin
We've seen
Dillon.
that time and time again. Austin Dillon. Yes,
But
exactly.
I think it's very silly to say that. Like, I think we would see a very similar finish
Hmm.
if we had a full season points format. When you need every single point, especially with the drivers we had up there, Hamlin and Elliott and like Bell. I mean, those are
Hmm.
our heavy hitters, right?
Hmm.
Bubba Wallace, who just he wants to win for his team. Like
Yeah.
he only has so many career wins. I mean, race car drivers want to win. I think the consequences and stakes of the playoffs they can definitely impact it. Like again, I think at Homestead last year, I don't know if Reddick tries that
I think that's
without the
fair.
playoffs, but at the same time, though, he probably would have. Though, why not?
Hmm.
What if you
Hmm.
could go win the race? What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that I just wanted to bring that up because I think that's something that with this discussion of the playoffs are going away after this year, that's been very
Hmm.
rampant, which I love. But I think this race might have people thinking twice about it. I don't know.
And if we didn't have playoffs, though, we'd be talking more about how Byron ran terribly all day. He was in the 20s all day, but recovered to finish ninth because he's,
We
up there in the championship battle,
we
in the
would have talked
points
about
battle.
Ryan Blaney.
And Ryan Blaney started last, and he kind of stagnated around 10th, but irrelevant in the playoff picture. But did you know Ryan Blaney had a speeding penalty and he finished
No,
24th?
no, I literally did not know that.
Like, I
I
literally thought
didn't
he finished
care.
10th.
It doesn't matter. Does it matter? No. I saw a fan on Twitter. Oh my god, this was getting on my nerves. They said, "Well, this is actually a huge deal for Blaney because he or this was talk about the wreck on Saturday when he wrecked in practice.
Uh
Well,
huh.
right now our plan is to get more playoff points, and this wreck really puts a hamper in that. It's like, oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I
Such a
bet you anything they were testing for Vegas. That's why Penske was so off.
testing for Vegas. Yeah, sure. They're gonna
I,
win by fuel mileage anyways. That's all. That's the only way they're gonna win. Why are they
but
testing for Vegas, girl?
let's talk more about the other half of the story. Bubba Wallace. He ended up calling his boss at 2311, Denny Hamlin, a dumbass after the last lap incident. And we've always wondered how Denny would race Bubba for a win. And we have our answer now, just like any other driver. And I think that's what we as fans should want, personally.
Yeah, yeah. Again, because we don't want team orders, or well, y'all don't want team orders. I don't want team orders to an extent. I think
Hmm.
I like them when they're cool and appropriate, but that would have been kind of silly, right?
Yeah.
Denny's racing for his own championship. Bubba is racing for his own championship. It just does suck though because I feel like Bubba, yeah, they had a mediocre day at New Hampshire, but man, they had a really great run today. They started awful in stage one, that car really came to life in stage 2. They were honestly one of the faster Toyotas. Like they were kind of up there with Hamlin and Bell.
Yeah.
That last like half of the race. And
Yeah,
it's
Bubba was
sad
top
that
5, like high top 10, like 6th, 7th most of the day.
it
Really good
makes me
run.
sad that his playoffs kind of depended on that one position. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just, I don't know. It is what it is. It's the playoffs, and that's a consequence of him not having a lot of playoff points plus his performance at New Hampshire. It's a consequence of that, but
Yeah.
it's just a little sad because that would have been a really cool win. Would have been the second win at Kansas.
Would have been a huge win for him.
I mean, beating Denny fair up would have been really awesome. Beating Meng to the line would have been cool, but
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate. Again, I do feel for the Bubba fans. I'm not here like I don't want to villainize Denny for
No.
taking out his own car.
And
I
again,
think
you
we
can
got
be
it.
frustrated with him. You are totally allowed to do that. But Zach and I personally just don't see him as a villain. And I think it's because our fandoms were not involved in this.
No, that's not even it
Personally,
because
at least part of it though,
I feel
because
like I don't know.
that's all the Bubba Wallace fan hatred at Denny right now is part of that.
I feel like we've done this podcast long enough to where I've like developed a sense for like analyzing it very neutral. Because again, I like
Oh,
yeah, I'm
same.
a Larson fan, but I kind of don't care about him at
Yeah,
points.
but
Like I'll criticize him when it's necessary.
for sure. I just mean like in general. I think that's why we're just
Yeah.
not like upset about it at all. At least a part of it. We have a Patreon comment from Courtney who said regarding Toyota, not the best of looks, throwing a win away due to a pro gamer move. Courtney calls it. I get no power steering, but still, I wouldn't call it a
Yeah,
pro gamer move. But I see what you're saying.
that's my negative energy with this Toyota thing. I'm not like Denny Hamlin's an idiot. I'm like Toyota's an idiot.
Yeah.
Because and that's the thing though.
How'd they let Elliott by anyway?
We say there's 5 for well,
Like,
I
where
think
was
Bell
Briscoe?
I think okay, here's what happened. Here's what happened. Briscoe kept trying the high line even though it wasn't working on the short run. I don't know why he kept trying it. Every time I kept seeing him, I'm like, it's not gonna work, girl. Bell and Bubba. By the way, Bell and Bubba just about made contact, and Bell got into the wall. So I think that's how Elliott got by Bell. I think Elliott Loki might have followed Hamlin through. Actually, I think that's actually what happened. I don't know. I would have to go watch, but I think that definitely is kind of how the 9 got through. But yeah, Toyota losing this race is a little unacceptable to me because
Yeah.
Alex, let's flip the script. Let's imagine this is Team Penske.
Oh.
If Team Penske plus Josh Berry is restarting, well, maybe
1,
this
2,
isn't
3,
fair to
4.
say. I don't know if this is fair to say because I just remember the Daytona 500.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up too. They've kind of done this before,
but I feel like they're really good at working together, though. Like
Yeah.
they know when it's appropriate. Like they would have seen the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
I guess. But
Well, Blaney's a team player at least half the time. I feel like he gives into Logano too often. So I mean,
maybe
he
that's
definitely
a part
wouldn't
of
have
it.
had this happen. Yeah.
But I think also another thing with Toyota is like obviously like Reddick and Bubba had to win. Christopher Bell has a mentality. I mean, you saw him last year at Martinsville. He literally needed just 1 point. If he has an opportunity to win, he's going for it. He's said that. Like the pit reporters always say that about Bell. Like they need to win if it's available, right? We already talked about Denny plenty on his mentality, right? That's 4 of the 5 Toyota drivers that are like, they are not going to take anything less than a win, right? Chase Briscoe is whatever. He's chilling. But he's also on the cut line. Like he's kind of close.
I think with Briscoe, he doesn't know what to do in these situations yet because he's not used to being up front. I think that's all his problem is. At least in the Cup car, he doesn't know how to handle being up front.
But him being on the cut line's not helping either. Like because he's under some pressure going into the Roval low key.
Right.
Low key.
So I know you just said that we talked about Hamlin so much, but I want to do a tiny bit more.
He's kind of been making a lot of news. So I think it's fair.
He really did have the best race, and Auto Racing Analytics on Twitter put out this graphic. He does this every week, and you can just see this graphic here. We have Denny Hamlin. It's based on if the race would have went green for the entirety of the race, pretty much, and where they would have wound up based on lap times. Denny Hamlin would have nearly lapped the whole field except for Christopher Bell, who would be in turn 1 as Hamlin is at the start-finish line. And then one lap down, you had Larson, Wallace, Elliott, Busher, and Briscoe. The
And this
11 was really fast.
and it kind of tells the story of like, yes, the fastest cars are Toyotas, and then like Hendrick is like kind of competing with them, but not with the fastest of the Toyotas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Great,
how
great
fast of a
visual
day
here.
Bubba had. Yeah, Chris Busher.
Chris
What?
Busher was probably the best Ford of the day. I will. I think there is something there because Busher was like the only Ford in the top 10 for quite a while, and like
Wasn't
Blaney
Zane Smith
Logano would be
up
like
in the
10th and
top
11th.
10 though, low key?
Zane Smith was up there. Yeah,
He didn't
he
finish
was.
there. He wasn't able to stay on four wheels, unfortunately. We'll get to him in a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
mean, he was up there, but not like in this
He was
conversation. He
up
was
on the
up on the
wall.
wall.
That poor
Well,
dude.
well, that's a cool graphic. Check out Auto Racing Analytics
I
on
love seeing
Twitter if you
these.
want more of those. They do this every week. Very cool. But you just mentioned Zane Smith. This was crazy. This was so crazy. I only recall two other times of this happening, and they're both in the Xfinity series. One was with Casey Kane and one with Martin Truex.
Wasn't there one with Brad Keselowski at California?
Yeah, I do
Make it
remember that
3.
one. 3! And I'm sure there's others too. But this was my 20th anniversary of going to Kansas Speedway. I've never seen something like this at a NASCAR race in person.
In my
So
20
that was
years of
new.
going to Kansas Speedway, I've
Yep,
never
yep,
seen anything
yep.
like that.
Exactly. And I saw the whole thing happen. Just all of a sudden, you see the roof of the 38 car. I'm like, oh my god! Then he started flipping. I'm like, oh my god! I don't think I've ever seen a flip at Kansas either.
Yeah. Girl, I was kind of stressed
Crazy.
out because he did not drop the window net at first. And I'm like,
Mm. I think I texted you that he was out of the car.
yeah.
There's a bit of a TV delay, and when the crash in turn one happened, I was like, crash! And you thought
Well,
it
I thought
was
that was Denny not having power steering and
yeah,
washing up
because
into Bubba and wrecking people. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be good. No, it's just Austin centric wrecking in the back. Like I care. Like
yeah.
what? Oh my god.
But I ended up texting you that Zane was out of his car and all good. They had him on the screens at the track. Zane was wrecked by John Hunter Nemechek because, of course, he was. We have a Patreon comment from Courtney. You may not like it, but the right way to race around Kansas is on the wall. So true. Question, Zach, is Zane Smith going to get penalized for wall riding? Because it's banned now
Someone
after
said
Russ Chastain did
someone
it.
said the fastest line at Kansas is on the wall, and he said, "Okay, are you sure?"
Are you sure? I'll try it.
That's so crazy that that's happened, and it doesn't happen more. You would think it would happen more because it's just
Well,
like,
and I guess Keselowski was Fontana, but the other ones, like Truex was at Richmond,
which, like,
and
what? Richmond? Like, how does that happen at Richmond?
Bristol, it was Bristol for Casey Kane in the 38 car. Twice the 38 car has done this, by the way. And that reminds me, did you see this tweet
And
that
Elliott
said
Sadler, 30. Yeah. What? That's crazy.
when Elliott Sadler flipped at Talladega, one of the flips, he flipped there twice. One of them was the exact date, September 28th of 2003. And then yesterday was September 28th, 2025. The 38 car, bad luck on that day.
A few months before they changed the championship format.
Oh.
So the number 38 is flipped 3 times, actually.
And
Elliott
guess what?
Sadler, Casey Kane, and now
A
Zane
Napa
Smith.
driver won both of those
And
races.
a Napa
That was the
driver
other
won.
part of that tweet.
That's crazy.
The format's about to change, y'all. Oh my
Y'all,
god.
it is so. Who won the championship that year? Matt Kenseth? A Ford? A yellow Ford? Yo! Okay, but hold on. We got 2 yellow Fords. Hold on. Don't get too excited.
Y'all, we
But
might
it
be
was a hardware
mourning.
store. It was a hardware. No, DeWalt's not a hardware store. It was tools.
That's a Christopher Bell. That's parts.
DeWalt? Actually, maybe it's
Oh,
DeWalt. Maybe we're reading it wrong.
Oh.
I'm okay with the
C-Bell.
Christopher Bell Championship at this point.
Yeah, I'm fine with
So,
that.
you know, as long as he don't dedicate it to anybody else. Anyways.
That was a good one, Zach.
Oh, I know. Thanks.
Something else that was pretty good was Shane Van Gisbergen got his first top 10 on an oval, and he ran around 15th most of the race yesterday. And he started a lap down. He had a drive-through penalty at the start of the race for an unapproved adjustment. And I saw some people discounting this, like, oh, it's because they were a bunch of crashes, blah blah blah. He was ahead of the 38 crash, and Bozy on Twitter posted a picture, and he with arrows. The 88 car is way ahead of the 38 car when this crash happened.
Yeah.
So really good run for.
Okay,
Really
but it makes me
impressed.
mad. Where was this last round?
Right?
I'm so mad. Like, girl, this is all we needed.
Ugh. Darlington,
This
if they
is
didn't
actually
overthink
impressive.
it, they were running 15th at Darlington.
This is
Man,
actually impressive. Because, like,
really
Chastain is
impressive.
kind of doing whatever. Like, yeah, he's, like, kind of running good, but they just don't have the playoff points to make up for... they're not going to be able to make up their deficit, and we'll look at the playoff grid now, I guess, actually. Let me go ahead and pull that
Yeah.
up.
But yeah,
But, yeah,
Slay
this
of the Week, the
SV...
SVG. That's awesome.
No, not Slay of the Week. I'm mad. You should have been doing this like before. That it actually pisses me off every time I see SVG run well now. I'm like, no, we needed this earlier. Oh
I
my
will say
goodness.
this, though. He's going to be an actual threat next year if we have a playoff format. Like, he's getting better really quick on the ovals. Last couple weeks have been really impressive.
I think that would be interesting in a I mean, yes, in a playoff format, but like even in a non-playoff format, like he's gonna be able to farm points at road courses
That's true.
if he can just not suck at the ovals. Like,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah, I mean, if he runs like this consistently on an oval, he could be like a dark horse.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not a championship contender, but still something.
No. Like,
Anyways,
yeah, yeah.
playoff standings. Kind of like what I said last week. It's the same picture. It's just I wouldn't say the gaps are bigger, but
They
certainly like
changed it a little.
Cindric's gotten a lot farther, but
Yeah, Cindric has to win.
it's still this classic. Like, I love this top 8. 2 Penske cars, 3 Hendrick, 3 JGR. I love how nice that is. And I honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to see that. I'm here to see that round of 8. However, I'm willing to sacrifice Logano. But go ahead and do the rundown, Alex. We'll talk about that in a minute. I was getting ahead of
Yeah.
myself. I was getting so
So,
excited about Logano missing.
so for our audio listeners, Elliott and Blaney have won and locked in. Then you have Larson plus 54, Hamlin 48, Bell 44, Byron 40, Briscoe 21, Logano plus 13. Below the cut line, you have Chastain minus 13, Bubba Wallace minus 26, Reddick minus 29, and Cindric minus 48. A couple notes. Like I said earlier, Byron ran like 25th all day, finished 9th. Great rally back from him. I'm sure he actually gained some spots from the Zane Smith crash. Unlike SVG, who was ahead of it. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. But good recovery for Byron. He was going to be really close to the cut line, I believe, ish, if Bubba had won.
Yeah, I mean, they can go into the Roval chilling, I feel like. I think Byron
Yeah,
and Up are kind of chilling.
I agree.
I think with how not chaotic the Roval can get, but you just never know. I think that's why like the 11 team were really stressing about having a good day yesterday, and honestly it's why they're probably going into the Roval really safe because they had a
Yep.
good day yesterday.
Some other notes. Ross Chastain ran about top 10 all day. Like he was kind of
Yeah.
behind like the Elliott Larson Chevrolet team. Like he was like 7th most of the day, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to see what Chastain can really do with the Roval in terms of
Yeah.
making up points on Logano. Now, Logano, like we saw last year, Logano's not that bad at the Roval. He had a pretty decent race last year. I'm interested to see what's going to happen because I don't know. I feel like it's going to take a lot to again break into this Penske JGR Hendrick club. That's what the top 8 feels like right now.
Yeah.
And certainly you could always say that. I think Reddick's probably the only one of these guys that could actually go win the Roval, I feel like, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't confidently say that considering they just haven't won this year and just with
It's
I
just
don't know.
like can SVG's just really good on the ovals even and he's won so many road course races. Can anyone actually beat him? Like
That's
I
another
don't
thing.
know.
Any of these guys hoping to win this race, well, you better get by SVG first.
I mean
The interesting
he's figured out the R part of the roval, but he's getting better on the oval part of roval. So watch out.
the interesting part of that is Ross Chastain being his teammate. Is that going to come into play? But if Ross Chastain's close
Right.
enough in points, I think he realistically could
Outpoint
compete with
Logano.
Logano for this final spot 1 points. Bubba, I think, is a little bit too far back. And it's
Yeah.
not even that it's not good at road courses,
Like
but he's not going to be able to overcome that much unless Logano and other people have issues.
Bubba's going to need to do some interesting strategy in the stages. I feel like maybe if he wins a stage, that would knock it down to -16,
Yeah.
like something like that. He might need to do, and then hope Logano has issues, and then hope he can leapfrog Chastain.
Yeah, it's just gonna be tough because these are the best of the best teams. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't think. I mean, we could definitely see some of these guys like Logano, even Briscoe, go into the Roval with an off day, but
Yeah,
I just don't feel like it's that likely.
and Logano, he finished 21st at Kansas. He was the first to take 2 tires in stage one, and he ended up getting some stage points there. Those stage points could be what saves him. He was in that crash in turn one with Cindric. And honestly, if Bubba Wallace had won Kansas, Logano would be the first below the cut line right now, and it would have put him at a greater risk of not advancing. Arguably, that's the one everyone wants to eliminate because he's really only good at Phoenix.
Well, I mean, if you're Toyota right now, you're not worried about Chevrolet at Phoenix. They're just not as fast as you, right? Who are your
Hmm.
biggest competitors? The 12 team and the 22 team. So going back to our discussion about Toyota losing Kansas, and
Yeah.
that sucks because you had that race wrapped up, but it also sucks because of what it means or what it could have meant.
You put
The fact that
Logano in a much better position. Much better.
yes, exactly. That's exactly what just happened. Logano
Yeah.
is now pretty, I wouldn't say comfortable, but he's in at this point.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
he
he was
doesn't
going
have
to be
to.
out if Bubba
Yes,
Wallace won. Yeah.
like that would have been that would be a huge deal, and that's ignoring the even year thing because we have to
Hmm.
assume that scientifically
That's
we
a
have to assume that
coincidence.
we have to
Yeah.
assume I don't know, Alex, we have to assume that he can win the championship this year. So
Yeah.
that would be a really big deal to get out, and that's might be something we follow at the Roval, right? Like if
Yeah.
y'all can get this 22 team knocked out, that's a huge deal. That's one less car
Very.
you might have to worry about. So
Definitely. And by the way, Chastain and Logano were racing each other for quite a while at Kansas. So it's interesting that they're on the cut line. And
yeah,
those two kind of have a reputation for being aggressive. So if it does come down to them, and let's say Chastain gains some points on stages, and let's say maybe they're side by side or something at the end, that could get interesting.
it
Those
could.
two don't tend to give much leeway to anyone.
I will say though, this is one of my favorite playoff fields in years.
It's really
Like
strong.
it's so strong. And I feel like every year it's like this is the strongest round of 8 we've ever had. But if it stays like it is and Logano's in, I feel like
Any of the
that's
eight could win it, the whole thing.
I legitimately any of these 8 can win it cuz I mean, yeah, like literally, I think all of these drivers are going to be champions one day, except maybe Chase Briscoe and well, I guess Denny Hamlin because he's running out of time. But
Yeah,
like they're
yeah,
either already are or will be champions.
yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like so
Hmm.
that would be really cool to see, honestly. So we'll have
Yeah.
to see what happens.
One other shout out here is Tyler Reddick. He lost all of his track position pretty early when Bell took 2 tires. Bell was leaving his pit and Reddick was entering, and he ended up rallying back to finish seventh. Didn't make much of a difference in his points here, but it kept him out of like an absolute must win. I still think
Yeah,
he needs to win, but that could be something big if he has a big stage points and everything. Others have issues.
yeah, that New Hampshire race is just going to haunt 2311, I think. Because
Yeah.
again, they already came into this round like at a disadvantage, and New Hampshire is just not what they needed at all.
Yep.
They could have
Yep.
really been in a better position, but yeah, just
Yeah.
sucks. But at least, I mean, I enough things can go wrong for people to where it's possible, but it's just going to be hard if you're
If you
2311.
were to predict, Zach, is the current 4 out the 4 you have out?
I get weird feelings about Logano. I think Chastain has a realistic possibility to outpoint Logano at the Roval.
Take some
I
notes
think
from
that's the
SVG. I think it
yeah.
could be.
Chastain's
Yeah,
really good at road courses. Like
he had. Yeah,
I
he's had
Penske's
at
kind
least
of
one
whatever.
photo.
I think that's a legit thing that will happen. I think that's the most likely change. It's either
Yeah,
no change for me. I'm kind of 50-50 on there's no change, but also I have this weird energy. But like Logano getting in that crash yesterday, I'm like, yep, that would happen to Logano. Like
yep,
I just something bad might happen. He might have a mechanical failure, you know?
yeah,
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I think Chastain's the most likely. No one's winning the race. That's not SVG. I feel like Bubba and Reddick are not. They're not going to win, or I don't
yeah,
think they can make up enough points, anyways.
yeah. That's kind of how I'm feeling as well. So let's move on to the T. And Zach, we only have one thing in the tea, and it's a pretty big sip of tea here. Rodney Childers is joining JR Motorsports to crew chief Connor Zilish and Carson Quapple in a shared number 1 car in the Xfinity Series next year.
So first of all,
Mm-hmm.
Junior Motorsports confuses me. I think they're downsizing because we kind of talked about that over text. Like we think
Yeah,
they're
we were texting about
downsizing
this
instead of going from they're going from 5
because
cars to 4
they're
cars.
they're losing the Connor Zilish sponsorship money, like with Red Bull and WeatherTech. Like all the Trackhouse sponsors are
Yeah,
likely not going to be there next year.
right. Because that's kind of why they added a 5th full-time team, anyways, because of that
Yeah,
money for
yeah.
Zilish, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because that remember it used to be like not an all-star car, but like Dale Jr. would run it. Maybe they put Bubba Pollard in it for a race. I think. I
Yeah,
think that's
it
really
used to be the Josh Berry car, like before Berry was full time. It
yeah.
would be
And
like
then
random one offs.
and then they had Connor Zilish in it for a few races, but
Yeah, and SVG
now
did some in it.
then it was full time. Now I think they're downsizing back to 4 cars, and unfortunately, what that means. Well, this is weird though. I think it. I guess Carson Quapple didn't have enough funding. Because
So
why would you even have Connor Zilish do a part-time schedule unless
yeah,
it's trophy hunting or he brought
it
money like
is
more
it is
WeatherTech and Red Bull
weird
money?
because I feel like Carson Quapple's been fine. I don't think he's been bad. Like he's
Yeah,
been fine.
but Bass
Has
Pro
he
Shops
won a
is not doing his.
race?
No, I don't think so. But Bass
No.
Pro Shops is not doing his full schedule.
Right.
It's a bunch of other sponsors.
I
So I
wonder
think.
if it's just gonna be Bass Pro just for his races or something, and then Connor does the rest of them.
Oh, I think they must have been looking at the opportunity of okay, we can have Connor do all these races and WeatherTech and Red Bull will be there. Easy money, right? Because
Yeah.
Jones is funded, Allgaier is funded, and Sammy Smith is funded. Like all the other drivers are funded, so
Yeah.
it's just kind of weird to me that
So
that came out. I guess, but
there has been like a rumor that Carson Quapple has a Team Penske deal as a development driver, and there were rumors that Penske would bring back their Xfinity team for Carson Quapple, but that's not happening. Like Penske's not bringing their Xfinity
a
team back,
develop.
and
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying. Like,
this was brought up at Jeff Gluck and Bob Pockrass's tweet up at Kansas. And Jeff pretty much confirmed, like, yeah, Carson Quapple does have a deal with Dean Penske. And it was asked, like, well, is that why they're downsizing? And he's like, I don't think so.
I
So
think it's a money thing, to be honest with you.
I'm thinking it's a money thing. I don't think it's like Chevy's like, you have a deal with the Ford team. We're not letting you race as much. I don't think it's that, but it is a weird situation.
It is kind of weird. A Penske. Why would Penske go for Quapple? That's so
So
weird.
Carson's dad is Travis Quapple, who raced for Penske. So I guess there's that relationship.
I mean,
But I guess
okay,
that's all I can think of.
okay, okay. Brexton Bush's uncle also raced for Penske. So, like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You're like, what? Sure. What? Anyways, let's go back to Rodney Childers. Though. This is what this is about.
Yeah.
How many races are they winning next year? Connor Zilish. First of all, Connor Zilish has already won like 10 races this year
I know.
or something.
I love that Rodney Childers has finally got a job, for one. I do wish that Rodney maybe was his cup crew chief for Connor. I think that would have been cool. But I guess it didn't because he had mixed results in this car and everything.
Yeah,
But
apparently Rodney's been doing some late model stuff. I don't know
yeah.
exactly with who. Might have been
And
with I don't know if it's with Kevin. No, I don't know. Maybe
Connor
his race team.
Zilish's crew chief next year is going to be Randall Burnett, who is Kyle Busch's current
Girl!
crew chief. Which I don't know if I like that move, but
well, okay, Randall Burnett's not why the car is wrecking every week.
that is true. And he did have the 8 car running pretty well before Kyle Busch went there. So we'll see. I think that'll be interesting. It'll give a good viewing to see how Kyle Busch does with the new crew chief. But anyway, Rodney Childers, love this for him.
Yeah, I mean,
really
he's
cool.
one of the most talented crew chiefs in our era, Alex.
Yeah.
Like him, it would be awesome to see what he could do with a full schedule with like someone like Connor Zilish. Like that is that is a pairing that you don't get every now
Yeah.
and then. So Connor Zilish will be winning a lot of Xfinity races next year. I promise you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, before we get into fantasy, Zach, I mentioned the tweet up. I want to comment
Yeah,
on
how
two
did that go?
things. Yeah,
How was your weekend in general? Like, just how was
it
the
was really good.
track? Yeah.
Really good. Love Kansas.
Anything new at the track before we talk about the tweet up? Like anything new? Just
No,
same
no,
old
nothing really new.
Kansas.
Jackson, Todd, and I complained about how they changed their logo and didn't update signage. They did update signage in
Okay,
between May
good.
and now. Um, same old, same old. Like it's the same track. More people than we had in the spring, as I mentioned earlier. I brought
Okay.
my friend to her very first NASCAR race, and she had a lot of fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great time. But I want to talk about the tweet up. I have two things to mention. One, I talked with Eric Estep, the YouTuber everyone I'm sure knows who Eric is. Had some very kind words to say. We were just talking to each other. Shout out to him. Really appreciated our little chat.
He said my thumbnails are nice. Oh my god.
And I also want to say Slay of the Week to the man who was checking me out at the tweet up. And
girl,
we
I
made
didn't know this was a Wendy Williams segment. Oh my god, damn.
We made eye contact a couple times, and I never got the chance to like walk over and be like, "Hi." So if you're a listener, hi. Second of all,
Girl, come get
like
your man.
tweet at me, DM me, like whatever.
Oh, girl.
And then we went on the infield, and my friend Jules was with me, and she tapped me on the shoulders like, "That guy's right there." And I looked behind me, he's there. So if you were following us, no judgment.
At New Gaydon,
you could have said hi.
Oh my god,
girl.
Finding love at Kansas Speedway.
You had me feeling myself, girl. I was like, oh, you're checking me out.
Can't spell Kansas without ass.
That's
you
true.
Can't spell Kansas Speedway without ass.
That's true.
Oh my god, this is great. I love a good love story. That's great.
Yeah.
Better than when I went to Richmond and said, "So this is what Grindr looked like."
By the way, I did open up Grindr just out of curiosity. There were like 4 people with like the traveling icon. That's on
traveling
there.
For work.
Wonder what that's about. Wonder what you're traveling for.
What car do you drive?
Yeah.
Oh. Let me stop right now. Girl, let's make our fantasy picks before we get ourselves in trouble. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Fantasy. So for Kansas, Zach, you almost had a win with Denny Hamlin, who finished second. And I had Chase Briscoe, who finished fourth. I was feeling good about Briscoe for a while, but
well, it really sucks that he didn't win, because now you get to pick SVG for the Roval.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with SVG for the Roval.
Wait a minute.
That's no secret.
Wait, you did the points wrong. So I have 26 and you have 25?
Oh, did I? Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Because if I don't have the points lead, my ass is picking SVG.
No, we were tied going into Kansas, and you have 26 points, and I have 25.
And that win, I mean, we're tied on wins, so like another win's like a huge deal right now. Who the hell do I pick? Well, I was looking
Cody Ware. Oh my god, what a great pick, Zach. Oh my god. Oh,
I got
Kyle
someone else.
Busch? Whoa.
I got someone else who's irrelevant, but is actually going to win. AJ Allmendinger. 3 top 10s at the Roval. 1 win. 2 top 5s. Yeah, don't girl me. He's actually really good at the Roval. The stats don't lie.
He was really good in the Xfinity series for a while. I think he won 3 in a row.
I mean, the fact that he legit does have a win at the Roval in the Cup Series. So let's not act like that's a weird pick. Like
it's not.
He's very capable. He's honestly been having good runs this year at points.
I could see him be in the top 5. It's just colleagues not as good in Cup right now. Is my only.
They are at moments. They are at moments. I mean, AJ Allmendinger carries the flag for them at AJ's good racetracks. At Richmond, they were fast. I think Richmond. There's some short track he's really good at. But yeah. I don't know. Who else am I going to
Okay.
pick? I ain't picking Ty Gibbs. I ain't picking Tyler Reddick. I ain't picking Christopher Bell. I'm not, because Christopher Bell's going to get stage. Well, maybe he won't get stage points. He's actually kind of locked in. I don't know. I ain't picking anybody else that normally wins at road courses.
Low key, C Bell's probably the only playoff driver I could see actually winning this race. Like, unless it gets a little chaotic, crazy. Like,
Yeah, but I
Bell's
feel
really the
good
only one I
about.
could see winning on merit.
I feel good about Allmendinger. Like, he's just consistently good there, and I think if something happens with FVG, he could realistically get me a win or a point. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
fair enough. I was teasing you, but yeah,
And
I mean,
also,
I see it.
let's not write SVG in as the winner too, because I'm like,
No, the Roval's different and weird.
has
Like,
he actually ever won the Roval? The answer is no. He's never won at the Roval ever. I
how
think
did he do in the Xfinity series there?
he that was a playoff cut race for him in the Xfinity series, and he was not able to win it. It was that one where Parker Klugerman was supposed to win.
That's
Remember?
right.
And SVG was I think he had damage low key, but like even before that, he was not dominating that race. The Roval was very different. Needless to say, though, we've seen SVG adapt to all of these other weird road courses like Sonoma, like Watkins Glen, and he's become the best at them, being in the Cup car every week. So,
Yeah.
needless to say, I think he is going to show up at the Roval and be fast, but I don't
So I
want
have
to
a
pencil
stat
him
for
in yet.
you that you'll
What?
like.
Okay.
Last year's Roval, Sam Mayer won. Obviously, Parker Clearman didn't win because of a caution thing.
He crossed
right
the
at
line first, but he didn't win.
But second place was AJ Allmendinger, and third was Shane Van Gisbergen. Last year, Xfinity Roval.
I mean, I'm just saying. And Allmendinger has the best average finish at the Roval between like in the last 3 years. So
Cool.
Stats don't lie. All right.
Well, thank you everyone for listening or watching. Thank you to our Patreon members for their support. You can support us at patreon.com/gayracingpod. It's just $2 a month if you want to submit questions to our episodes, and $5 a month if you want to get early access to any bonus videos we may do. Consider giving us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and liking and subscribing on YouTube. Follow the podcast at Gay Racing Pod on all the socials, and follow Zach and I on all the socials at New Gaiden and Dreamy Zach Racing.
Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you guys next week. That cute boy better hit Alex up. You better be sliding in those DMs. I'm just saying. Get yourself a man. We'll see you guys next week to talk about NASCAR at the Roval. I think F1's going to Singapore. Something interesting might happen there. I don't know.
Max Verstappen won a GT3 race, by the way, this past
Apparently,
weekend.
all the other really good GT3 drivers are somewhere else in the world racing.
Oh, there's always an excuse.
Well, I hated how... And then people said, well, okay, well, let's see Verstappen win a Rolex. And then someone said, get this. They said, well, Newgarden's won a Rolex, so that's not that much of an achievement.
Who said that? Was he a writer for the Indy Star?
Well, first of all, like, this this Indy 500 champion has won the Rolex. Like, that's not the diss you think it is. Like, I know Newgarden wasn't that fast. Anyways,
that's funny.
How dare you bring up Max Verstappen on the Gay Racing Podcast? That's a banned word. Anyway, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.